Hey, we're gonna start early because we can. Why not? Who says we can't start early? Hello everyone, welcome in. Story, you made it, let's go. Candle is here, perfect timing, perfect timing. Can you get my audio check? Should be good this time. Dagnabbit is still loud. Ooh, forgot. Earbuds, loud. How is the volume, you guys? How does that sound to y'all? That was extremely loud. I forgot. I turn it on, it comes on extremely loudly. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome in. My camera is still over here, it has not moved. I'm hearing myself an echo. Oh man, it's been a day. I'm sorry, we're a little bit early, we're a little bit discombobulated, we're a little less organized than usual. It's been a day, there's been a lot happening today. I can't talk about all of the things that's happened yet, just in case, until I know it becomes if it becomes official, I can't say anything yet, but there's been a lot happening today. It's been a long, let's just say I was gone for 4 hours and a lot happened in 4 hours, so give you guys a chance to make sure the audio is good, and if so, we can go ahead and start on our first sprint. For anyone who has not been here before, the sprints are divided up into 30-minute segments. So we do our introduction here, we talk for a bit, and then we do a sprint for 30 minutes, which we write, and I don't look at the chat or do anything communicating with the chat. I'm trying to be quiet, give you guys a chance to write. At the end of 30 minutes, we will come back, we can discuss whatever we want to talk about, any ideas we have, anything we want to throw out to each other, and then we write for another 30 minutes. Because we are starting at 10 o'clock tonight instead of a normal 9, we will not be sprinting as long tonight. Probably 2 to 3 sprints. But still a good chance to get a lot of writing done, so as soon as I get an audio check, in which case I'm probably going to look at my phone and try to blast my ears off, we will go ahead and start sprinting. Okay, I think we are good. So, I'm going to move my phone out of the camera range. There we go. Alright, and I think without further ado, let's hop right into it with sprint number 1. The timer, I have not yet decided if the timer works, but if you guys can hear it. Anyway, 30 minutes on the clock, and your time starts now. See you all in 30 minutes. You have just under 10 minutes remaining. And that's it. 30 minutes complete. Excuse me. 30 minutes complete. How did you guys do? I had a bit of a rough start, but ended up with nearly 400 words at the end, so that was good. Rewrote like how I wanted to write like 4 times. Couldn't get started. It's the second chapter or something, so it's really hard to get started. Hi Candle, I still see you. And Story says, what are we writing tonight, ma'am? Oh, we are writing something good, Story. We are writing something very good. I don't think you've ever really read my dragon stories, have you? Yeah, it's getting an entire rewrite. It's gonna be amazing when it's done. I'm trying to write my first intense hero scene, and it's just like, it goes from 0 to 100 so stinking fast that you don't want it to go too fast, but you need it to go really fast at the same time to get people's attentions. And as I found out, my weakness is writing action scenes. I picture them like a movie in my head, but I'm not very good at writing them down. Hi, Jen! I see you. Hola, ¿cómo está? Story says I've actually been writing a bit of a spooky horror myself. Ooh! Story, you are quite good at spooky horror, so I kind of want to see a spooky horror. A rewrite takes so long. Dude, tell me about it. This is my 3rd time rewriting it. 3rd and probably final time rewriting it. I know I keep saying that, but probably actually this is the final one. I'm gonna add everything. Last couple times I kind of held back just to test what I could do. This time I'm going full out. I know what I'm capable of. I'm gonna do it all the way. We're going all the way this time. So what did you guys do for the last 30 minutes? Anything exciting? I think my timer went off. Yeah, it did. So I know Story's working on a horror myself. He's working on a spooky horror. 3rd time's a charm. That's what I'm hoping. 3rd or 4th time. I lost track. I started writing this thing in 2014. And it's very different than how it started 10 years ago. 3rd rewrite. 10 years to do it. So we need to speed up the process of writing a little bit if I want to be an author here, but yeah, this is definitely the last rewrite. It's going to need some grammatical editing, most likely. Most stories do, but the plot is going to be all there this time. Everything I want is going to be there this time. A character gets mauled by a monster, so yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds, I would call that less spoopy, more just flat out horror, but yes. I can't say I haven't had a character or two that happened to them, and they probably deserved it. 2014, Jen. 2014. I started writing Forgotten Legends. When I started writing it, it was like 2 to 3 page, like maybe a paragraph or two for the whole story. Like it was awful. And then I did a rewrite, and it got a little bit better. Then I did another rewrite, got through the actual book, and now I've got the rewrite that I'm working on. I just finished. And then I'm doing the rewrite, the final rewrite now. So, yeah, it's a very long process for writing. Anyone who tells you writing is easy and it's not going to be a lot of processing and thinking, they're crazy. It takes forever. The thing is, you get better. Like, by the time you finish a story, you rewrite again. You're like, I can write so much better than I wrote before. What in the world was I writing before? And it always feels like you never do enough. But eventually you're going to get to the point you're like, okay, this is what I want. I know how the story needs to go, and this is how I want it to shape. I want it to be like this, and this is how we're going to leave it. You, as an author, I don't think you're ever going to be fully content with what you write. Other people are going to say, hey, it's perfect, but you yourself are never going to be content with it. You have to know, like, hey, this is the point. This is where it's going to get the best that it can get, and that's where we stop. We know what we're done. We know what we can do. We know everything about the characters that have been fleshed out can be fleshed out. If we do any more, it's forcing it. And you kind of start feeling where that balance is, and I think I'm starting to feel that balance. I'm starting to see, okay, this is what my character is able to do. This is where we're going to stop at. Let's add this and make it a little more exciting. Let's take this out because it's not as exciting. It didn't draw as much traction as we were hoping it would. And go from there. Bro has been on that writing grind for real. I have been on that writing grind since before I knew you, Story. A long time before I knew you. Howdy again, Kendall. Jen, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yes, my words are gone. It's been a very roller coaster of a day. I don't know if this is up for conversation, but I'm struggling to find the ambitions for my characters and character dynamics. How do you do dynamics? That is a good question, Kendall. So the question I have for you, is it dynamics between the characters, or is it just trying to find the dynamic that fits your character? For me, a lot of the characters are different personalities of myself. And I kind of just like, I let them take over. I sit there and I just wait and see. And I sit there and I pick a scene in my head and I'm like, okay, if this was a scenario in which the character would be in, what would the character say in this position? What would they do? And kind of based off of that, you could be like, okay, here's the character. Here's the scenario. How would they react? But how would someone else react if they were with them? For the dynamics if it's between the characters. It's like, for example, my main character, his name is Cloud. And his best friend is the literal opposite of him. So, like, in a scenario that was in danger, he would be more like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why did I ever think this was a good idea? At the same time, while he's having these mental thoughts, his best friend would be like, oh yes, excitement, adventure, finally a chance to do something worthwhile. And it's like, you have both of them happening at the same time. One could be internal, one could be external. It's just, the dynamics are hard to explain because it's basically more along the lines of what your characters are like, and knowing how they would react in a situation. It may not be a situation that's ever going to show up in the story. It could be something absolutely random. But, like, put them into a scenario. For example, put them into a... Okay, so if I had a very aloof, reserved protagonist, I should have a more personal, engaging, reckless side? You could. That would definitely be an interesting twist. That's just what I do. I'm more of a cliche kind of person. I like to make things the literal polar opposites of each other. The dynamics, it's real. It's like, are you trying to... I guess what I'm trying to ask is it dynamics between the characters that you're having problems with, or is it deciding the character's dynamics, like the specific character? You have a very aloof, reserved protagonist. You could have a more personable, engaging, reckless side. Or you could stick with the more internal, like the more internal war going on in them. It's like more of, okay, very aloof, so very airheaded, reserved protagonist. So like airheaded but reserved. So like you don't like speaking, you don't like, basically me. But there's always more than one layer to the characters. There's more depth, probably, I would say, is you can do it. You can make them reserved protagonists, very aloof, very personable, engaging, and reckless. But the main thing is just to have more than one layer of depth to the character. So yes, they're aloof, they're reserved, but why? Why? That's the best word I come up with, is why. What made the character like that in the first place? Why would you have those two combinations together? So if you chose to make them more personal, or engaging, and reckless, why so? What is their motivation? Why would you do that? If that helps at all. It's every character has to have a reason for the way that they are. You can throw a character in there with just a random personality and be like, here, personality. But if you don't have a reason for it, they're not going to be believable. I don't know if that helps. It's very much up to how you see the character and how you want everyone else to see the character. I feel like that's the best description I can really give. I hope that helps somehow. Yeah, anything's up for conversation. It can be, I can answer it, or anybody in the chat can answer it, whatever they think. You can disagree with me, you're allowed to. It's the motivation I'm struggling with. I got the backstory, but drives the character. That is very important. So you've got a very aloof, reserved protagonist, but you've got the backstory, but you don't know what drives the character. Okay. So, in the scenario of your character, what backstory... You don't have to go into much detail if you don't want to, but what backstory would you have, unless they didn't have, like, a tragic backstory, that would cause lack of motivation? So I feel like if you had, like, any kind of tragic backstory, that feels like pretty good motivation. But what drives the character? Is it a hero or is it a villain? Oh, it's a protagonist, so that's the hero. what happened? I guess just one of the good questions. What happened in the past that you could possibly pick? Like, was it a traumatic past? Did they have a bad backstory? What happened that they could use? A hero. Yeah, hero. Protagonist. Yeah. I missed the protagonist part. But if you... it's hard to just pick not knowing what the backstory of the character is, but maybe work on fleshing out what the backstory is. If you have the backstory, can you flesh it out anymore? Can you make it that he has a reason to have a backstory? What could we build on that? That would be probably a really good way to think about it. The words are failing me, but if we had the backstory, but we need the motivation, maybe we need to work on expanding the backstory. That would be like a good sprinting thing too. It's just like, okay, let's write down everything that happened in the backstory, like in explicit detail, and see if you can find a motivation. Usually the motivation's in there. Okay, he lost his father in 9/11, sort of situation was related to the CIA and stopped terrorists, and he was forced to be separated from his wife to protect her from terrorists. He has a terrorist agenda. I've seen that now. So his drive would be to protect, maybe? I would say perhaps protect, and a little bit of maybe... spite's not the word I'm looking for. Reserved irritation. Reserved irritation that he is not able to be with the ones he loves because of this. So his drive is to stop this so he can be back with his family. That's the first thing that comes to my head. It may not be what you're looking for. So I get all of this, I just don't quite get his ambition, but it's fine, I should keep sprinting. Sprinting is always the best idea. It sounds like he's a protective character. That's one of, like, the main protagonist things, is, like, how protective are we of the people we care about? He's very protective of people he cares about. He does not have the best luck with his family, apparently. I think that's going to be, like, a major drive, is, like, protecting his family. I feel like that's going to be a really good, point. I think it's all right with you guys. We will do one more sprint. Give Kendall a chance to maybe run through some of those ideas. And then we'll come back and talk once more before we end. I think we're only going to do, like, 2 sprints tonight. So something like that, 2 or 3. We're not going to do very many because it's already late. So, if you guys are all good with it, I'll start the timer up again. Kendall, if you have any more questions, you can throw them in the chat, and I will absolutely look at them. I'll see them. It'll give me time to ruminate on them while we're sprinting, and then I'll give you any answers you have at the end. You're welcome. I'm hoping that's helpful. I have a tendency of tragic backstories, so I'm not sure you want my advice. I usually tend to torment my characters a little too much. I mean, we all love to torment our characters a little bit. But sometimes we go a little too far. Nah, never too far. Alright, let's sprint again. That was a good conversation. That was a really good conversation. Alright. 30 more minutes on the timer. Starting now. Alright, I gotta finish this scene. Okay. Alright, and just like that, that's the end of our last friends. I saw a lot of things happen in the comments while I was writing, because I was totally focused, so let's run back through those real fast. Jen says motivation doesn't have to be a huge thing, it can just be what seems like a small emotional thing, but to your character is important. That is a very good point. Don't stress over it more than you have to. Exactly. See, that's a very good point. Motivation can be very important. It's important to you, it's important to your character, but you don't have to make it like... Maybe your motivation isn't blatantly obvious. Maybe it doesn't have to be the first thing that you know about your character. And you just kind of like learn the character's motivation through how they act and how they talk. Think about how it would affect you too in real life, Jen says. Exactly, yeah, see, how would you react to something like that in real life? Candle was initially attracted to the character because of the struggles between serving two masters and his loneliness and estranged from his family. That's a good plot. Now I just feel like he's very difficult to emotionally endear myself to him. I feel very, boxed in. Maybe, Candle, maybe just take a step back from him for a little bit. Jen says try reading a story like that, reading about some character might help. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or just change him a bit. Yeah, I would say take a step back and reevaluate what he was supposed to be like when you started him. What his purpose was and what his main attraction was when he started. Maybe you need to go back to the roots and just find what he doesn't have now that appealed to you when he started. That's a good place to start, maybe. Henneth is coming in. Hi, Henneth. I'm sorry, we were just about to wrap up, my girl, but, got a lot done tonight. You're gonna be very happy on multiple accounts of what I got finished tonight. And Kendall's a head out now, but thanks so much, of course, Kendall. Hopefully it helped. Really hope it did help a little bit. That was our last writing sprint for tonight, and it's gonna be a little bit shorter tonight. Mostly because I have... Yeah, just because I'm tired. That's a lame excuse. It really is. I don't care if you're tired, you write anyway. But yes, hopefully that helped you guys. Hope you guys had a good writing sprint. Jen, thank you for all your suggestions and help. I like that. You guys talk when I'm writing too, which also helps me. Gives more conversation more than just my point of view, which is a very good thing when you're writing. Point of view, writing joke. So, does anyone have any final questions or anything you want to talk about before we head out for tonight? Any last minute conversations or burning desires? Our next stream will be Sunday night at 9. Sunday night at 9. Sunday night 9, Thursday night 10. Yeah, I get this backwards all the time. Sunday night at 9. Oh man, I got so much writing tonight. So much got done. It's so much fun. I have to give you guys a few seconds. You're a few seconds behind me. I realized halfway through my music wasn't playing. None of you told me my music wasn't playing. Come on, chat. You're supposed to tell me when something's not working right. So I got that music back on really fast, but I'm like, that's nice 30 minutes of just silent clicking. That's fine. That's fine, right? Perfectly normal. I'm just sitting here looking at my writing, and the theme is literally... The world needed a hero, but they got me instead. Basically, that's the theme of what I feel like my writing is tonight. Do you feel better? I do, Henneth. Yeah. You heard music. Yeah, I got it back on in about 50 minutes in, but I'm like, oh, the music's gone? It wasn't on loop. It was funny. Yeah, I feel better, Henneth. It's a discussion we're gonna have another time, not during a live stream, but I don't have an answer what I'm going to do yet, but I do feel a bit better, yeah. And if I didn't, rip all my characters. Because when I get stressed, man, do my characters have to suffer for it. Alright, you guys, I think we are going to go ahead and head out for tonight. So thank you all for coming. It was great to have you all here. I love seeing every single one of you. You guys make this so much fun. And I will see you all Sunday night. And love you all. See you all Sunday. Cataclysm, out.